Hi everyone, Kate back for a video about kind of my reading and channel goals for 2018. So in short, my reading and channel goals are I want to read some and I want to film some. So I basically have no idea what my year is going to hold as far as like time and energy and desire to film and read because I'm gonna have a little baby, which is really exciting. So I want to keep things really open-ended and not make promises that I can't keep, but I am hoping, after some sort of hiatus that I will have the desire to film. And I think maybe this new setup where I have a lot less to do to prep for videos and keeping things low key will help me to do that. And then with reading, for those of you who follow me on Goodreads, you may have seen I set my reading goal to one book. And that's basically also, even when I have more reading time, I found this year I don't like how focused I am on the numbers. And there's been a lot of buzz and talk on BookTube lately, a discussion I've really been enjoying just about kind of we should be more worried about the quality of the reading that we're doing than the quantity. We're reading for love of reading, not to make some obsolete kind of like numbers goal. Not to say that I think some people like the numbers thing works for them, but I'm just getting to the point where I'm not liking how much I focus on it. So since having a BookTube, I've definitely been like way more focused on how much I read. So yes, so my goal is to read some and to film some. But I do have several like miniature goals that I want to get to. So the first is I've picked 5 classics that I want to reread. 4 out of the 5 of these are very chunky. So these are ones that I've read at least once before and I really want to savor. So the first is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I have only read this one other time and I tried last year to read it and it's just, I don't know, it wasn't the time. So I want to try again this year. And I would like to read this sooner rather than later because I do feel that winter time is especially suitable for Wuthering Heights. And then next on the list, I have 2 Elizabeth Gaskell, and the first is North and South. This is one that I find when I hear people talk about it, I'm like, I actually didn't love it that much. I know I talk so much about Elizabeth Gaskell, but what makes me so enthusiastic about her are her other books besides North and South. So I want to see how I'll feel upon rereading this, and I have kind of grown in my like concentration toleration, my tolerance for classics. So I want to see kind of how it feels now, having, a fair number of classics under my belt. But this is one that is just talked about so much on BookTube. And like I said, I love Elizabeth Gaskell. She's my favorite Victorian author, but I do feel a little bit like this one I don't get on with as much. So I want to give it another chance, but really take my time with it. And then one that should not come as a surprise. It has now been, oh goodness, like 3 years since I read this. So Wives and Daughters is, my favorite Elizabeth Gaskell. It's my favorite classic. And yeah, I just love it so, so much. So this one I'm really looking forward to, but also I am ever so slightly nervous since I talk it up so much, then that, will I love it as much as I talk it up? So yes, definitely though, I do really, really want to read this. Then one that was one that originally when I read it, I came out just being overall relieved to be done with it, then like glad that I had read it. And that is Middlemarch by George Eliot. So I don't know if I'll be reading any new George Eliot this year. I don't feel all that motivated because I kind of feel that Daniel Deronda is like the George Eliot for me. But I do think I have this theory that upon a reread, like I'll like Middlemarch more. And just with this year being so busy, in a way, it's like I'm giving myself a pass to take months and months to get through a classic. So I kind of feel like slightly less pressure in that way. So yes, we're going to see what happens with Middlemarch. I do know there were a lot of characters that I was interested in. So yeah, I want to give this a try again and see how I feel about it. And then lastly, one that I think 5 years since I read this, at least 5 years, and that is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I remember really enjoying this when I read it, and actually just trying to watch the movie and just not really being all that motivated to watch the movie. So I just really relished this classic. It's just so fun and so dramatic. And I did get, like a couple years ago at a library book sale for like 50 cents, Scarlet, which is the like sequel, the unofficial sequel, but approved by Margaret Mitchell's estate. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but it would be kind of fun to follow that up. And I know Anne from Beyond the Pages enjoyed Scarlet as well, and she loves Gone with the Wind. Then two authors that I'm going to be reading a lot of this year. The first is a read-along that's being hosted by Arpita at Pages and Cup and Michelle at Book Musings on Instagram. I will link both of their pages. I forgot to do that the last time that I talked about this, so sorry, ladies, that I did not link your lovely pages, because their pictures just make me so happy. I just love Instagram. So anyhow, we are going to be reading through the Misread Thrush Green series. So excited for it. Can't wait. So I have only read Misread's Christmas books. I had read No Holly for Miss Quinn and Village Christmas and The Christmas Mouse, which I adore all those. And so the read-along started in December, and we read Christmas at Thrush Green. And where it was good, I feel like the general consensus, the discussion that went on Instagram, was we liked this, but we could tell that Miss Read's editor and not Miss Read herself wrote this. So that is one, you know, it was written years later. She approved it, but her editor wrote it. It just didn't feel quite like the same writing style. So then I got all nervous, like maybe I don't like her as much as I thought. But then I picked up The Christmas Mouse and was just blown away. I just love it so much. And then I read No Holly for Miss Quinn, and it was just lovely. So, but those are both from the Fair Acre series. So aside from Christmas at Thrush Green, I have not read anything from Thrush Green. So the ones that I have physical copies of, I'll just hold them up briefly, is Thrush Green, and this is this year's pick. And I just love how quaint it is. It's a May Day fair this year. It's this month's pick. A May Day fair in the Cotswold village of Thrush Green brings to light pleasures and pains, past, present, and future. So looking forward to reading more of Miss Read herself's writing. Then there is At Home in Thrush Green. And I don't think I had these in the order that we're doing them. I'm just holding up the ones that I have. These are my mom's that she let me borrow. And this is The School at Thrush Green. And in case you're wondering, this series, it was published in 1959 was the first one. Friends at Thrush Green. And then I love this cover, Celebrations at Thrush Green. And you can see these are really short books. So this is one, even with like a newborn and a toddler, I feel like somehow in a month I can make time for this. Affairs at Thrush Green. Winter in Thrush Green. News from Thrush Green. Thrush Green. Oh, Return to Thrush Green. And Gossip from Thrush Green. So the few that I am lacking, I can check out as library ebooks. They have like the whole Thrush Green series, which is great. So yeah, in case you don't know, Miss Read just has been compared sometimes to Jane Austen, although I think her plots aren't quite as grandiose as Jane Austen's. But just really, what am I trying to say? They're just interested in people and relationships, and very quiet, but charming, and also really perceptive sometimes. So I'm really looking forward to making time for that. Then a fun project I am doing with Anne from Beyond the Pages, and then on certain months, other ladies are joining us, and that is to read all of Mary Stewart's books. So there are a couple that I have read that Anne has not. So when I'm kind of, busy taking care of a newborn, Anne is going to make time for those books. But I'm going to hold up the ones that I have not read. And the one that we're currently reading is Touch Not the Cat. And I should say, if you are new to this channel and have not heard me talk about Mary Stewart before, Mary Stewart wrote kind of suspenseful and romantic books. So they're kind of they feel to me a lot like Daphne du Maurier. That's what I should say, because they're very, the writing is just so good. And I think Mary Stewart's so underrated. I think people just think of romance when they think of her, but I feel, she has just as much romance as Daphne du Maurier does. So I just really love her. So so this is Touch Not the Cat, and really enjoying this one. It's standing out a lot from the other ones. I have no idea what's going to happen. It was just totally unexpected, which is what I like with Mary Stewart, because you never know kind of like what you're walking into. The next is This Rough Magic. Then Stormy Petrel. So you can see I have kind of a mix of the two different kinds of editions, just because when I started to love her, they were phasing out these editions. But this is My Brother Michael. Airs Above the Ground. Thorny Hold, which I'm really looking forward to this one. It just sounds so interesting. The rambling house called Thorny Hold is like something out of a fairy tale. Left to Jilly Ramsay by the cousin whose occasional visits brightened her childhood, the cottage set deep in a wild wood has come just in time to save her from a bleak future. With its reputation for magic and its resident black cat, Thorny Hold offers Jilly more than just a new home. It offers her a chance to start over. And then Wildfire at Midnight. This says, one arrogant wing of rock thrust itself across the sun, flinging a diagonal shadow over the bay. My eye was drawn to the great lonely bulk of the mountain in the east, stooping over the valley like a hawk, Blaven, the blue mountain. Then Thunder on the Right. The growl and roar of thunder rolled and re-echoed from the mountains, and the sword of the lightning stabbed down and stabbed again, as if searching through the depths of the cringing woods for whatever sheltered there. And then The Moon Spinners, which I have heard excellent things about. There was a movie made in the 60s with Haley Mills, which I will watch after reading this. So this takes place in Greece too, which is fun, in the Mediterranean. So yes, most of her books kind of feature a woman traveling on her own and trying to figure out who's good, who's bad. And just great suspense books. So we're going to be reading one of those a month. And there's one I don't own, so I will buy that towards the end of the year. But it's two like super short novellas bound up into one. So yes, Ange and I are really excited about this project, and it's just really fun to get to read with someone else who has really come to love Mary Stewart. So a challenge I'm very excited to do, because again, this is one that I feel like even with the crazy year I'm going to have, I will be able to accomplish this. And this is being hosted by Becky and Bethany. They are on Instagram. I will link their pages down below, and they are hosting Mystery Mania 2018. And so much fun. I'm just so excited. So they have 25 challenges, and they say, of course, you can, if you are able to figure out a way to kind of double dip with some books, or even triple dip, that you can do that and figure out ways to cover, different goals with different books. But I might take up the challenge, because I usually read around 50 mysteries a year. I might just try to have an individual book for each one. So just real quickly, I'll read through them. Golden Age Mystery, first book in a series you haven't read yet, a Victorian mystery, a children's mystery, a mystery set somewhere other than England, a mystery with a femme fatale, a hard-boiled mystery, a real-life/true crime mystery, a mystery you own but haven't read yet, a mystery set in a mansion, vacation home, or hotel, a mystery involving jewels or gold, a mystery under 200 pages, a mystery recommended by a friend, a mystery rated 4 or more stars on Goodreads, a mystery set in an era you don't frequently read about, a mystery set in England, a mystery involving an estranged relative, a mystery book with a pleasant cover, a mystery with a murder weapon on the cover, a mystery written the year you were born, a mystery that takes place in the country your ancestors are from, a mystery with a character you can identify with in some way, a mystery that does not have murder, mystery, death, crime, or case in the title, a mystery turned into a movie or play, and then lastly, a mystery with a title that references a poem, lyric, famous quote, or book title. So doesn't that sound just so fabulous for people who love mysteries? I'm really, really excited about it. So I am, even though, you know, I don't know exactly how much reading this year holds, I'm very excited about the reading that I'm going to do. And I am still working my way through my like Victorian 5-star TBR predictions. I made a video of that, and it has 15 Victorian classics, and a lot of those I can read on ebook, which will be super convenient for this year. And then also, of course, you know, I'm doing the mystery challenge, and I just love reading mysteries more than ever. So, and I'm able to access a lot of those through like my library's ebooks. So yeah, really looking forward to the reading I'm doing this year, but also just kind of reading exactly what I want when I want. Yes, so those are my general thoughts on 2018. I will be filming, you know, several more videos, just kind of wrap up and different things. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye.